A very good morning, students. Today, as I have told you last day, that I shall come up with a discussion related to the next part of the first unit of advertising. So here I am, I have come up with a discussion related to the next part of the first unit of advertising with an expectation that you are done with the preparation of the notes till now that I have supplied in your WhatsApp group. I also believe that along with preparing the notes, you are also listening to my lectures. But just to recall what we have done till now, our first class dealt with understanding the concept of advertising and understanding the importance of advertising. Now, while discussing the concept of advertising, I told you that the word advertising has been derived from a term called adverto, which means to turn around. Now, how has this originating term contributed to the concept of advertising? It has contributed in the sense that the aim of an advertiser is to attract the attention of the consumer towards the goods and services. Or you can say that the aim of an advertiser is to turn around the attention of the consumer towards the goods or services. I also told you that advertising is a paid form of non-personal presentation of goods, services, or ideas by an identified sponsor. Now, while discussing the importance of advertising, I told you that the theme of advertising is to evoke a favorable attitude within the consumer towards the product. So it is basically the aim of an advertiser to convert an indifferent, or you can say a negative attitude of the consumer into a positive attitude towards the product. In the last class, we have discussed the different types of advertising, and I have also told you the basis or the criteria based on which the advertising can be classified. Now, today's discussion would revolve around understanding the concept of advertising spiral. Now, as the name suggests, or you can figure out from the name itself, advertising spiral would basically connect some elements in such a way that it would basically be successive in nature or chronological in nature. It basically says that advertising spiral parallels the life cycle of a product. Or you can say that it basically means that the different stages of an advertising spiral would correspond to the different stages of a product life cycle, and the thrust or the priority that an advertiser the priority of an advertiser in different stages would change depending upon what stage a product is in the product life cycle. So with this preliminary idea, I am going to share the screen with you. Please listen to the discussion. At the same time, please pay attention to the screen that I am sharing. So it is said that advertising, the concept of advertising can be broken down into 3 specific stages. These stages are referred to as advertising spiral. So advertising spiral provides a point of reference for determining which stage or stages a product has reached at a given time in a given market and what should be the thrust area of the advertising message. That means that depending upon what stage a product has reached in the whole product life cycle, at a point of time, the thrust area of the advertising message would change. Now here, as I told you, that it parallels the life cycle of a product. Now, a representation of the advertising spiral model is depicted in the following diagram. Here you see that there are 3 stages: pioneering, competitive, and retentive. As I have told you that these stages are successive in nature. Successive means that pioneering stage would precede the competitive stage. Similarly, the competitive stage would precede the retentive stage, and that is why it is connected in a chronological order. Let us discuss the stages of the advertising spiral. First stage, as I have told you, is the pioneering stage. Now, the pioneering stage is the stage where the product is new and the consumers are not familiar with the product. Here, the goal of advertising at this stage is to show the consumer what the product is and how it works. Why? Because the consumers are not familiar with the product itself. So they do not know what are the features of the product, or they do not know how to use the product. So advertisers also need to show that the product fulfills a need in consumers' life. For example, when a personal computer first became available, early advertisers would have to demonstrate that it was a tool for multiplicity of purposes like word processing, game, and data analysis. So, of course, you can understand that a product which was introduced in the market for the first time, and when a consumer is completely unfamiliar with the use of the product, the advertiser should try to demonstrate how a product operates. At the same time, the advertiser should try to convince the customers regarding the use of the product in the life of the consumer, isn't it? Because when a product is newly introduced in the market, of course there is a apprehension, or there is a skepticism within the consumer regarding the use of the product in their life. So here the advertiser needs to convince the consumer that of course the product has a role or is important in the life of the consumer. Now the next stage is the competitive stage. Now the competitive stage has arrived because the pioneering stage has completed. Now the pioneering stage completes, it means that the consumers have now become familiar with the product. They now know what the importance is for the product in the life of the consumer. Now they are quite acquainted with the use of the product. So now comes the competitive stage. Now in the competitive stage, consumers are now knowledgeable about the product. The task is no longer to introduce the product to them, but give them a reason why the brand is superior. For example, most consumers know what a deodorant is and how to use it. So a deodorant would be advertised on the basis of the advantages over competitors. This happens in the competitive stage. That means in this stage, the consumer is familiar regarding the product. It is only the advertiser only needs to show or represent the areas in which the product is superior or the brand is superior to the other brands. So it might be promoted, that means the deodorant might be promoted as long lasting, smelling fresh, or being the most affordable. Then comes the retentive stage. Now the retentive stage is a stage where the consumers has gone through the first two stages, that is the pioneering and the competitive stage. Now they know about the product. They also are aware regarding the areas or the aspects in which a particular brand is superior to the other brands. So what happens in the retentive stages? The retentive stage for a product comes when it is so well known that the advertisers only need to remind the consumers about it. So you may often find that there is a billboard or a poster where there is only the picture of the product or picture of a brand, and without any information being given in the poster. Here the purpose of the advertising is that whenever a consumer would look at the poster, he would be reminded that he needs to purchase the product. So as it is written here, that advertisements at this stage are simple and may feature nothing but the brand name or the logo. For example, if a soft drink becomes extremely well known to the consumer, it may be advertised simple with billboards and posters that show the product and its name without any information. So as I have told you, that it is just to remind the consumers that they need to purchase the product, because they are both aware regarding the regarding how the products are used, and they are also aware of the aspects in which a product or a brand is superior to the other brands. Now the question is whether there is a whether the movement of the stages, the three stages that we have discussed, are absolute, or you can say that whether all the time an advertising should move through these stages. Now it is said that a product may move from the pioneering stage to the competitive stage to the retentive stage, but this is not always the case, because if a product fails at an earlier stage, it may simply die off before reaching to the competitive stage. That means at the initial stage itself, if a product is has died, or if the product has become extinct, then it will not move to the next stages. Also, a product may sometimes skip the middle stage, going from being completely unknown to extremely known. Or you can say that the tenure of the competitive stage could be very less in the number of years in the competitive stage may be very few. and it is mainly because some of the products cater to the needs of the consumers much better than the other products. Therefore the competitive stage is not very long in in respect of time. So it is said that in some cases a product that is marketed to multiple audiences can be in different stages simultaneously. That means for a particular group of audience it can be at the pioneering stage, whereas for the other group of audience it may be at the competitive stage. So this is how we have come to an end of this discussion. So I hope that you have understood the concept, and I also believe that you will complete the preparation of this concept within 2 or 3 days. I don't know what is the situation with regard to the classes in the college. We are going to make our attendance. We are going to attend the college from tomorrow. That is the teachers. So we are going to make our attendance from tomorrow. Now, when we go to the college, any instruction that we receive from the college regarding the, uh, you know, regarding when the classes for the students would resume, we shall convey it to the students. Anyways, but for now, you just focus on the notes that I have supplied and listen to my lectures also. Anyways, thank you very much. Have a good time.